Blah, y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality. The whole this podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to hide from your drama or maybe hide from your baby mama. Just kidding. But anyways, thanks y'all for listening. Staying tuned. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Cha-ching! And today we have a very, very special guest. Our first couple, married couple in this podcast. We got our boy Mike, I had to bring him back, and his wife Monica. So I'm really happy to have y'all both here. Thank you guys.
Hey, thanks for having us, brother.
Thanks for inviting us. Yes.
Of course, anytime. So real quick, before we get started, I want to share a quick story that happened to me last week. So pretty much I help out with social events and like social dance events where people that are single get to meet other people that don't know how to dance. So it's pretty cool. And one of my good friends, he invited me to actually a Filipino restaurant that just opened 2 weeks ago. It's called Dance Starsa Cafe. And
Wait. Isn't it, the name is not in Filipino?
no, but the owner is, and the DJ is, and the waitress is, and the
Hey,
Fun.
she can probably translate that. What was it
bet
again?
it's fun.
What's
right?
the name?
So it's called Dance Starsa Cafe.
How you say that?
Dance Stars Cafe, Sayaw, Dance Stars. You know, it's basically like that. It's
So y'all went to the Sayaw, huh?
yeah, Sayawan, Kantahan. Did you have a video okay or?
So look, let me tell you guys, this is pretty
Sure.
good question. So basically, the owner closes it for everyone else like after 9 o'clock. So he sets it up for like the social dance event, like I told you, for like people that are single or trying to learn how to dance. And he has, I think his parents are the DJ. They're like in their mid 70s, but they're the cutest couple I've ever seen because
Oh, that is so nice.
no, it's so dope because there'll be moments he's putting like cumbia, and then he'll take his wife out to dance, and they know how to dance it, and it's the cutest thing because I see them turning and he moves her down. It almost looks like he's going for the kiss. It's the cutest thing, and I love them. They're like the happiest people ever, and so this place, like it opened up like 2 weeks ago, and for me with this pandemic, I feel like you should help out mom and pop restaurants because they're the ones that got hit the most and they need help, you know. So I invited all my friends. Actually, my friends from Chicago, they flew in. You know, they came in, tried to see me, and I told them we gotta go here, guys. They have the best Filipino food. You know what I had? You're not gonna believe it. I had I correct me if I'm wrong, but I had ponce, the noodles,
Oh,
and I heard it's supposed to give you long life, so I had to get it. 'Cause I was trying to live a good life.
I know a little something.
Right? And then I had this not chicken. It was fish fried, but I think it's called CC.
Sisig, yes.
Oh man, I
It's good.
gotta be honest with you, it's probably my favorite fish I've ever had in Vegas.
Nice.
It was so good. And my two best friends are Filipino. So they already knew it. They're like, hey, I'm going to get this and this and that. So they ordered the whole thing. We had about 4 or 5 entrees. I'm not going to lie. I was so full after that. But here's the thing I'm going to tell y'all. A couple tables away, there was a very, very beautiful woman I saw. And your boy Yaakov, what it do, had to go up. And they start playing my favorite songs.
Guapa.
Yeah, you know, say some salsa. So I'm like, all right, Steph, this is where I come. So I go walk to her and I tell her, hey, girl, you want to dance? And she goes, yeah, I'll be down. Okay, cool. So we dance. You're not going to believe this, guys. She's half Mexican and half Filipino.
Oh, watch
There
out
you
now.
Beautiful combination.
Connection.
Careful.
It's a connection.
That
Yeah, I
Asian
loved it. I loved
persuasion.
it. Like, man,
Watch out.
yeah, I thought I fell in love because I was like, man, I've never seen a combo like that. So I start dancing, and the good thing, I know how to dance. And she goes, oh, man, I really don't know how to dance. And I said,
Me neither.
you good, bro, you good. It's funny because she's like, man, I don't know how to dance. And I said, don't worry, girl. I don't charge the weekend, so you all good.
And
And it's a weekday, by the way. Right. So I started dancing, doing my thing. Yeah. And next, I could tell I'm making her laugh. And here's the interesting part: she starts to interview me in a way.
Oh,
She goes, "How old do you think I am?" I said, "Man, that's the most deadly questions of all time. Are you trying to get me in trouble?" She goes, "No, for real. How old do you think I am?" I said, 21. You gotta go with 21. So I said 21, and she
you
goes,
legal, baby.
"All right." She goes, "Oh my gosh, for real?" And I'm like, "Totally." And so I find out she said, "No, but actually I'm 31." I said, "Oh, okay, all right." Now
No, I don't want to ask you how old you think my wife is, because you ain't gonna get it right, brother.
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, your wife looks very young too. So I'm don't try to put me in trouble, but I'm gonna stick with the 20s. I'm gonna keep it the 20s. And then Mike, you look like 32. I
Thank
think
you.
that's a good
With
combo.
my beard, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it 32. Keep it 32. I don't know if I was right, but
Did she tell you, or
oh
she
yeah,
left you in?
so the girl told me she's 31,
Okay.
and then she asked me how old I was, and I said I'm 28, but I'm about to be 29 this year. So she's like, "Oh, righty on." And so, and so we started dancing again, and this is kind of funny. At the end of the night, she was like, by herself, and some tall dude with a ponytail, 6'3", comes up and talks to her and shows her like something on her phone. And I said to myself, "What a wonderful world." So I went up to her and I said, "Hey girl, let's dance." And they were playing that song, Dancing Queen. Dun, 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 dun. So I was like, "Yo, this is my jam." So I told her, "Hey girl, let's dance." She's like, "Why?" I said, "This is my favorite song." And so we danced. And she's like, "Why did you take me away from the guy, right? The guy with the ponytail." And I told her, "I'm gonna be honest, it looked like you were bored." And she's like, "Yeah, you're right. I mean, the video was like 14 minutes. He tried to make me watch something on YouTube, and I'm here to trying to have a good time." I said, "See, that's where I come in." And so at the end of the night,
Yaakov to the rescue.
there you go, man. And check this out. She said that she lives across different town in Vegas, like a 30-minute drive. And she said on her way to the area, which is on Jones, she said she pulled up the gas station, and then the car behind her was a bunch of dudes trying to holler at her, talk to her, and try to like get her attention. She said she was pretty terrified that she called her girlfriend. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what area I am." And her girlfriend's like, "Yo, go back to your hood. This is the wrong area." And so she's like, "No, I gotta go. I already committed. I'm gonna go to this place." She still went. So when she told me the story, I said, "You know why you got scared?" And she's like, "Why?" "Because you didn't have me. I'm sorry to tell you. If I was there, I would have protected you. I may not be able to beat
Touching.
you." You like that, right? So I said, "Don't worry." I told her, by the end of the night, I'll make sure you get home safe. Don't worry. So at the
That's
end
so
of
nice of you. That is so nice of you. Yeah.
oh, thank you, thank you. And so after the whole thing, I told my boys, "Hey, look, guys, y'all go to my car. I have to do a mission that I cannot, I have to finish it." I'm like, "Okay, all right." So I see the girl. She comes outside. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you waited for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, girl. I don't break my word. So let me walk you to your car." So we're walking together. Yeah, yeah. And she says to me, "I had a wonderful time." And she goes, "You gotta follow me on Instagram." I said, "It is most definitely I will." Next, to make the story short, we did have a day yesterday. I think
Hey,
it
congrats.
was successful. Thank you. I kept it really, chill at the bar, trying to, see how it feels. Did nothing crazy. But yeah, that's my little 2 cent story. So back to the main topic today. We have one of the best married couple I've ever seen, and live today on my podcast. And real quick, guys. So, how long you guys been together? And kind of tell us, how did you guys really met? Like, was it that Mike had to change his shirt a few times and then go up to you and
Swagger
be like,
like that. Swagger. Nah.
yeah, right. He's like, hey, girl, I know how to tell you this, but I can see clearly. You know what I'm saying? I can see clearly. So tell us what really happened.
um, we've been together for like 16 years. 16 years, yeah. So yeah, and you can tell him.
We go upon that. When we met, that's when it began. Because we weren't seeing anyone else then. So
Yeah.
we met at my godfather's Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, yeah. Thanksgiving. A friend
It
of
was my birthday.
mine. Thanks.
So my godfather is married to a Filipino woman.
Yeah.
And it was one of her good friends, and he invited me over. He was setting us up, bro.
No, it's not really. It's not really. So basically what happened is she invited me, and at that time I don't really, it was like a snowstorm. Really a snowstorm, so I don't really want to go. But then she said like, hey, you really have to come, but it's not an arrangement for me to meet someone in there. And then he's a foster dad, right?
Yeah, I say godfather.
Yeah, and then his godfather at that time, he was a sergeant, and then Michael is under with his what is this thing?
Tutelage.
Yeah. So he invited Michael, and you told me you were hesitant to come at that too, right? Because you wanted
Well,
to
it's
hang out
my
with your
birthday,
friends.
and
Yeah, it was his birthday.
And
he wants to be with his mom, his friends, with his families. But then he come, and then I remember at that time, I was really late. Can you imagine that I was really late? I came like around 9:30 p.m. The dinner is done, okay?
Yeah.
But then Michael was just in the center of the table, I came in, and then, that kind of look like, who are you? So I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, Filipinos are very, very conservative, really, really conservative. So we have to wait until.
All right, look, man, this happened, man. She walked in the room and I was like, black and yellow, black and yellow.
Oh man.
No, but we met at my godfather's party
Thanksgiving.
16 years ago. So
Thanksgiving.
we've been together, as you were telling me your story, with the Filipino you spoke with, just so you know, if you don't know, there's always a courtship. Filipino women are old-fashioned, so
like everyone.
Well,
like
not everybody, not in America, but you have to put in some work, my lord. All right.
All right, man.
Like basically, like every woman's deserved. You know.
That's true. That's true. And like, is it that? Do you guys remember? Like, what did Mike say to you? Did he just say to you like, "Wow, like that's what I'm trying to figure out."
Yeah. No. This is the first thing he said. He said like, "Hey, girl, what's your name?" I was just like, oh my God, I really thought he's fresh, but he's so fresh. But then he just, with his charisma and with his personality, I think he said like, okay, I have to make this really, really slow. And then I went to the living room, and then Michael followed me in there, and then he said, second question is, what song do you like? Because we like singing songs.
We're doing karaoke.
Room. After we eat dinner, we usually go to the living room and have karaoke. Karaoke? Yes, we sing
Filipinos
songs.
call it like videoke, but
it's like a kumbaya, something like that, And then he asked me like, do you want to sing? Do you want to sing?
I didn't know that she was like a really good singer.
No, I'm not.
No, she's lying. She's a really good singer. She can keep a. You see, she's in the choir at Beth Shalom. So.
Oh, okay.
I am all the way at the end. I just opening my mouth right there and Beth Shalom B'nai Sakin. Okay.
Wow.
just for a attendance or something. But yeah, it's that is a second question, and then we start from there. We start from there. We exchange phone numbers, and we make sure that we keep it like that. Yeah, communication wise, it's perfect. It's really good. Yeah.
And where was the first date? Did he take you to like a kung fu school or like he wanted you to
No,
see
we
if
went
you
in the
could
lake.
fight, you know what I'm saying?
We went. We went and walked in the lake for like
Hold up, hold up,
three
hold up,
hours.
hold up.
Three
Let's
hours.
back it up just a little bit. I introduced her to my mom, because that's a tradition. Like, you got to get your mom's approval.
Right.
And then my mom at that point was living over by Wilson and Lakeshore Drive.
Yeah.
And so we walked from Wilson and Lakeshore Drive to like North Avenue and then back. And I was thinking about you and Herb when you went on that long walk.
Yeah.
There was one of those walks, bro. It was long. I had never walked the whole lakefront, from 4600 North to 1600 North and back again, because, so that was our first date. And,
3 hours long walk. 3 hours long walk. But that walk is really something that there's a story in it, because he told me his dad used to play golf on that area.
There's a clock tower over there.
His dad used to play golf in that area, and I told him I used to run in that Lakeshore Drive over there. So, and then we play. I can't believe it. He had a chess board on him. And I don't play chess. And he was just like, I was going to teach you how to play chess. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'm playing checkers. Life is chess, brother.
So he was prepared, I guess, to have the But it's not boring for sure. It's not boring. It's fun for that 3 hours.
That's good. That's good. Because I was gonna say, because like for me, when I my first date back in the days, I actually took a girl to a kung fu school, and she beat my butt when it was time to do like a little self-defense, like I guess technique. I didn't know this girl had a background, and I was knocked down when she did. So it was like, I guess I forgot the technique, but she did it so fast. I barely was trying to learn it, right? I was like, okay, how you doing? Yeah, okay. And so I'm like, I think I got it. And she's like, no, I think I got it. I said, nah, girl, I think it's gonna take you a while. I don't know if you're ready. Bam! She got me in the floor, and I was like, yo, hey. And the seafood, the instructor was like, man, she's a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? He said, hey, he looked at me, Yaakov, she got my approval. He said she got my approval.
Let me dust you off, bro.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just funny times, man. But I'm really happy to hear that. Like, it's a beautiful, story that you guys met together. Yeah, I heard a little ding. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let me
It's
Facebook me on that stuff. I'm sorry about that.
You good, bro. You good, bro.
My bad.
Well, another thing I wanted to ask you guys, what you think that helped your relationship stay strong? Like, I know there has to be ups and downs. It's like everything in life. What kept you guys going like stronger? Like, because here's the thing, a lot of couples, I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of couples are afraid to tell how they deal with conflict. They usually say, oh yeah, we just, we just overcome it. But a lot of my fans want to know, what's the best strategy when there's a problem in a home, right? Like, do you guys try to resolve it that same day? Or do you does Mike just leave the door and say, all right, babe, I'll be right
Well,
back?
I would say it depends on the problem. It really depends on the problem, because in my tradition, or for Filipino cultures, women's usually are humble, very humble, and then they are so easy to talk with, and then like a Spaniards kind of behavior that you have not. I'm not trying to, what is this thing with most of the Filipino, but most of my friends who are Filipino, they have this mentality about a Spaniards thing, like women's have to stay in the house, take care of the children, you have to cook, you have to clean, this and that. But Michael married a different woman. He literally married a different woman. I like to work. I like to work. Well, I like to cross bases with the children, and also I love to cook. You know, I love all of those things. But depending on the problem, sometimes the problem is very light, then it's okay. But if the problem is a big problem, oh, buddy, you need a break. We both have to have a break, and you have to think whatever the problem is. If we could talk about it at that night, or just wait until 2 or 3 days. Wait until 2 or 3 days.
So let me just put it like this. I mean, if you don't know, the history of Filipinas, they were like the Agta people. From the mountain.
From the mountain, yeah.
Like the Negritos, the little like short midget people. So they have a long ancestry, and then when
not all of them are short.
I didn't say no. We're talking about an ancestry, like way back. So the conquistadors came in. They did what they did. So that blood mixed. So you have mountain people.
Mixed
and
with Spaniards,
conquerors, what I'm saying?
Spaniards, Japanese, American, yeah.
So it's a lot of strong blood there, and she's right. It's depending on what the situation is. So if the situation is
extreme,
a financial one, yeah. That's like, you know how it is. Just like with Jewish people, Asian people, they keep the money in tight circles. So financial problems aren't that bad, which for most Americans, that's like the big problem, right? Most marriages end because of debt. People don't pay stuff. So what is a big problem in America is not a big problem in the Asian community, honestly, because they keep the money tight. But, when I wander off and do stupid stuff, that's when I got to watch my head because, she got that conquistador in her, brother. Whoa, duck and move.
As for women's, I'm not speaking for everybody, but as for me, we don't really believe in divorce. We don't really believe in divorce. And when you told me the first day, when he promised me, okay, I'm gonna marry you, this and that, that's gonna be for the rest of your life, for better or for worse. So when he goes back on that thing after 2 years, it's like, no, you are stuck. This is what you promised me. And so he basically is like, no, that's not an American way. So that is a cultural shock. Okay, that is a cultural shock. But then, it's not about the money. It's not about the financial problem. It's not about the children. It's the infidelity. For the Filipino,
for Asian women all across the board.
The infidelity, it's what really crushed us. It's a big insult. It's a big insult. Just like when you don't like the person, if you are not what is this thing with Filipino, not Filipino, but for me, I'm speaking through my base. If you are not interested with having a relationship with me anymore, just tell me the truth. Just tell me directly. We have no problem about that.
Let me put it to you like this, my lord, and this is as concise as can be. I don't know about all Asian women, but I can tell you about Filipino women. You can't have any friends that are girls because that is, it's a danger zone. And in real life, a lot of times it is. Like usually when people are, they give into infidelity, it's usually someone that they were friends with. You know what I'm saying?
No, you could have friends, but not.
Don't get too friendly though. You
could have friends.
You can say hi.
You could have friends, but not too friendly that you can call the person right. if like in the middle of the night or something that you could talk to when you have problem with your wife.
You can write them a
story.
You can write them a card and your wife will mail it for you.
Oh man, it's very interesting because I have a little different perspective. I feel like, and it's okay, we all have different walks of life. So like for me, I feel like this is how I feel. Maybe because I'm a different time, but before I was like, man, you know what? If I get with a wife, like I find a wife that I feel like I love, she can't have friends that are guys. Same for me.
Right.
But now,
I mean, my wife don't have any guy friends, at least no straight ones.
Wow.
Like gay dudes, that's okay.
Well, like for me,
I do in secret, by the way.
okay. See,
Come on, man.
so look, here's my thing. This is my thing. So for me, I feel like if you trust your woman or your man with like you really trust them, like full thing, no matter where they are, wherever situation they're at, you know they're doing something right. I feel like the moment when we feel scared that they're gonna do something, that's when we have insecurities. That's how I look at it,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So, like for me, like in my job, right? One of the things they teach us is networking. They always tell us if you meet somebody who has like this, say, this business that you need to help you build this project, you have to network. You have to exchange numbers. Not saying trying to go out with them and trying to make a move, but get to pick at their brain, like meet up with them, try to figure out how did they start their project or their company, how did they get there, and take notes. And maybe they have somebody that could connect you to somebody else to get what you got to be. That's kind of like what they taught me, and I kind of like that concept because if I don't do that, I can't be successful by myself. I'm be honest, I just can't. I got to use other resources outside of my comfort zone to help me expand my empire. That's kind of how I look at it. But let me say something real quick because this is a very interesting couple and I love it. I want to know, like, for you, like, being Filipino and my brother Mike, being biracial, what is, did you guys ever felt like when you went to like a different gathering, like a friends gathering or somewhere in public, people would stare at you guys, like even at dinner because you guys were different?
Look, I'm gonna let her answer this, okay? But here's the one thing I would say. You remember when you was a kid and you would play that game where you would have to, it was the memory game, and you would have to flip up the little things and you would have to match the people.
Yeah.
Well, if me and my wife were in the room and you had to say, all right, which one's his wife
Yes,
and
that's what he said
who's her
also.
husband,
Yes,
you're never gonna put us together.
I
So
know.
opposites attract. But I'm gonna let her answer the question. Because I know a big thing that I've witnessed personally is that my mom, may she rest in peace. My wife is taking care of her like a daughter the whole time she's been with us, and a lot of people spoke out online and would say stuff like, is that your caretaker? And my mom would she'd be like, no, it's my daughter, not my
No, I said,
daughter-in-law.
yeah,
No,
definitely.
but my mom would defend her. So it is a lot of times Asian people are put into a position of servitude when they're really family.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So when Asian men and women, come into families that are multi-ethnic, not the same, whether it be Hispanic or African or European or wherever, a lot of times, that the culture of America, racism, right?
Yeah.
It comes out. That white privilege is that racist side of America, is their birthright, and then they automatically assume the Asian person in the room is someone of servitude, the same way they would towards someone black. So the same stuff happens to Asian people. But I don't know if she has any personal experience of racism.
Actually, I don't. I don't really. I mean, when we usually go to the restaurant or to the, to the marketplace, or to the synagogue, we literally blend in. We literally blend in. Yeah. Um, I don't really have a problem about people looking or staring at us or say some words directly that I could hear it, because I don't put up with bullies and also my husband don't. So I think those people knows who are they gonna put, like put other people down, because I never experienced any worse. I never experienced any but really poor treatment from other people. We have a good time all the time when we go to the restaurant. with the kids, we do have a great time. Yeah, there is. I could see some looks, but those kind of looks, like what he said, is like, are they really couple? Are they really couple? Because I don't. Sometimes I don't wear my wedding ring, because I'm very hands-on with my hands, So
She's a nurse. So.
yeah. So basically, it's like looking at it's a CNA, certified nurse assistant. We visit patients. I work in the assisted living, but what is this called? It's I never really experienced it.
Let me just
I will
say
not,
this, and once again, it is America's lack of culture, where they can't, for European Americans have a difficult time of believing that Asian women are with someone who isn't white, and that's straightforward. So, a lot of times, if you've seen pictures of my daughter, and someone will say something stupid, like, oh, how long have you been taking care of her? I'm like, she's like, since she came out. That's my daughter. So those little, what do you call them? Those little triggers, you know what I'm saying? Those otherisms,
yeah, I told that. But then I come to a reality that Michaela doesn't look like me. Looks like her dad.
Minus the beard.
Curly tops, beautiful eyes. Well, she's my daughter, like literally beautiful face. And then one time we went to this suburbs neighborhood, and then we went to close to Winnetka and Highland Park. We went to a nice restaurant, and then I came with a stroller, and then there's this sweet old lady. She said, like, oh my God, she's so cute. How long have you been taking care of her? And I was just like, she's my daughter. And she said, like, oh my gosh. She looked at me and she looked at my daughter's like, oh, she's adorable. And I said, like, yeah, she's my daughter.
You let that racism slip out.
But then with that mixture, I don't usually take it as an offensive kind of behavior, because she really looked different from me. And that's just like,
Look, let me say this. You know what our topic is. So I have always noticed that too often than not, Asian folks sort of brush it off, but now we're looking at what's happening, in results from the
Atlanta,
the last idiot we had in the Oval Office
last Thursday, yes,
making these racist statements. And now we're seeing that, because in reality, a lot of Asian people, especially Asian Americans and those who have immigrated, they weren't taking offense to this racism all these years. And then it came to a boiling point. Now we're seeing actual attacks, people being pushed, people being attacked by every ethnicity. So it's sort of like, in my opinion, in America, Asian people have been bullied for a long time, but they just disregarded it. But now it's come to a head, right?
Yeah. And here's another thing to add on. So for you guys, with the pandemic, right? I feel like when Trump was saying that COVID came from China, right? Was like one of his biggest quote. And I feel like a lot of people got upset like from his comment, right? Did you guys feel that in any way were you guys being like treated differently with well, here's the thing, there's a lot of hate crime and discrimination in the Asian community, but have you guys ever felt any like racism for being Asian, especially for you, Makar?
Oh, just like what I said, a certain looks of people.
Okay.
When he made that comments, this people really thinks that we are Chinese, and it really doesn't matter about the cultures. I mean, Asia is a big continent,
Yeah.
but if they said, okay, we're Chinese, or I don't care about that. Just don't hurt people. Just don't hurt people, you know? So when they look at me, because my eyes is like this, and it's because I open my mouth with an accent, they usually, they have a direct perspective or conclusions that I am a Chinese. But they never dare to attack me verbal or something, but just the looks. But the looks could give a lot. So basically, if they're looking at you in a certain things, I look at them directly. But then I have my children. I don't really fear for myself, okay? But when my children is with me, especially Michaela, and I go to the jewel thing, to the jewel place, or driving the cart with her going outside, I looked around. Because there might be an idiot person who really think that we created the virus, who really think that I am a Chinese, because my eyes is slant and everything like that. I'm afraid that they're gonna drive directly to where my cart is, and my daughter is right there. Mm-hmm. So I started not bringing her in the store. Instead of me enjoying it with strolling with her in the park, strolling with her in the mall, or bringing her to where I'm going to go shopping, that thing stopped. Because you just don't know what people could do. You just don't know what people could do. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's scary. You could protect yourself, but you're afraid about your children. You're afraid about what they could do with your mother. You're afraid what you could do. I have a niece and nephew who are half black and half Filipino. Okay? And I called my cousin directly. I said, do they experience this kind of situation? That was a long time when former President Trump said about that the virus came from China. Okay? That's an Asian virus. I called them directly because if I get that certain look and it's very insulting for me, I am sure that they have that kind of treatment too. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. It's very disturbing. Yes.
Wow. Well, I was going to tell you guys, this happened to me last week. So sometimes I do volunteer work for, helping out shelters in Vegas and try to give back to the community, right? So I did a ride. I picked up somebody, and I gave him a ride from the kindness of my heart, right? Because I have that chesed, the kindness to help others, right? So I'm giving a person a ride, and the lady in the back, she was telling me that her husband died from COVID. It was a white woman, and she said to me, "It's because of the Mexicans crossing the border. They're the ones bringing COVID." And she said that, and I was driving, and I'm man, God, I know you testing my patience.
Oh my God.
Myself. Yeah, I was like,
thank God I never heard any comments from that, because I don't know.
Yeah, it was bad. I was literally like, should I just crash?
I'm swerving all crazy.
Yeah, I'm getting a brain.
We're going back across the border, baby.
Yeah. I said, hey, girl, we could go cross together if you want. You know what I'm saying?
You're coming with me.
Yeah, forever. You know what I'm saying? But,
get that Mexican Corona.
Yeah. And I was just like, man, it's sad. And I came inside and I talked to a good friend of mine. And she's like, you did the right thing by.
But you didn't say nothing?
You know what? To be honest, I'm going to tell you why I didn't. Because that person was very important for that place that I was picking up. And at the end of the day, man, it's sad to say this, but no one's going to believe what I say.
This is what I was talking about with the Asians too, that passive, you're being passive when you should call them out. But
not
I
all
understand.
of them, not all of Asian.
Right. Well, not my wife. She's in the I don't take no shit Asian group.
No, there is an exception for that. Like, for example, if your children is with you, if your daughter is with you, of course you cannot say anything.
Yeah.
Of course you cannot say anything. it is really, really hard to say this. You're just going to swallow the words that they said, because what you're thinking is for the sake of your daughter, and she's 3 years old.
Right.
But if I am just going to be by myself, hell no. Literally, I have to speak out. I have to say something. I am going to correct you as much as I could. I don't care if my English is limited. I really have to say something.
See, for me, I couldn't do it because, like, even before I got in the car, my
your head is rushing, yeah.
And the charity
your blood is rushing.
Did you have like intuition something was going to come up?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was getting a little prepared. They're like, "Look, I'm gonna be honest. You just have to, do what you got to do. Thanks for helping out, but remember that these people are, very special to us, and just be just normal. Don't talk about politics, nothing, because it could really affect you, especially because I'm doing something for helping out in the organization. I was like, you know what? They have a good point, because in this situation, like, I was like, I couldn't speak up, right? But I know, because it's something personal to me, like,
True.
I would get very offensive
and emotional.
Yeah, and I may say things that could be so hurtful with words, right? Because I'm already using my reaction. I was already.
Whoa, check this out. All right, let's role play.
All right.
So she ain't here now.
No, she ain't. But now I'm free.
What would you have said, my lord?
Okay, so this is what I would say.
Now I'm free.
Now I'm free, and I told like I said, I told my boss, and she's like, you were the big person. You know what I'm saying? You control yourself from, because the thing is, even the Torah says you should not say things when you're angry, because you may say stuff that you may regret, or you may hurt somebody, right? So I try to, if I'm calm, it's different, because I know I'm not gonna curse or say something mean. But if I could rewind and go back in time, this is what I would say. I'm sorry to hear about your father that had COVID. But to be honest with you, I don't know if you know this, but since the pandemic, the border's been closed ever since. So I don't know if you've been watching the news or paying attention, but that's not the reason why COVID is spreading, because our damn president at the time did not do anything about it. And here's the thing that, now we're getting a little political, but this is my favorite part. So here's the crazy part. Italy and United States had the highest COVID patients of all times. More people were dying from any other country. How is that Mexico, being a third world country, dropped their COVID percentage by 60% off, 60% by having the shutdown? Now, here's the thing. Technically, United States has the best scientists, labs than Mexico. I'm gonna be straight up. We're one of the richest countries in the world. So there shouldn't be an excuse why we spread this COVID 10 times, 3 times more than everywhere else, right? I felt like in the beginning, I'm gonna be real, from what I've researched, Trump knew about the COVID since February. Only 2 cases came out in Washington, and he said it's a hoax. The Democrats are trying to take us down. He started with that. He denied it. We had a lot of scientists keep telling him, hey, look, this is real. We should do something about this. It's going to be a pandemic. Nah, it's good. We're going to take care of it, guys. It's going to be okay. Don't worry. It's going to be gone in a week or 2. It got worse, actually. In a couple of weeks, it got worse. It went from 1,000 cases to 10,000, 300,000.
Yeah. Multiply directly.
Look, my wife was telling me stuff that they were saying in the Philippines before it hit America. Back in December, bro. Like after Thanksgiving, because something like Rabbi told me, like, I listened to the BBC, because like they tell you more stuff. Just like, Latino TV, since it's not like translated into English, they can say whatever they want, and then you really find out what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
From outside news sources. So it didn't hit our news till like February. You're right.
Right.
Around Valentine's Day, they were like, "Hey, don't be hooking up too much. You might get the Rona."
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And here's the thing too, man. Like, if you guys watch movies, right? Movies, a lot of time they predict the future, believe it or not. There's a movie that came out with Morgan Freeman. I can't get the name of it. It's about, I think it's called I don't remember the name. But anyways, it's on Netflix, y'all. Oh, Contagious. I think not Contagious. I don't remember. But I don't know if you guys remember.
Maybe
Forgotten.
What was it?
Because you forgot the title. I said forgot.
That's an Asian humor, brother.
Yeah. I just know it's about a monkey.
No, but I know you. I think you're talking about that. I remember the movie where they were wrapping people up in plastic bags, right?
Yeah. And there's the monkey that started the virus, and it spread out to everyone.
Oh yeah.
So when that movie came out, 1980, 1996 or 92, it's old movie, really old. But in the movie talks about this virus that is airborne. It actually,
you talking about the one with Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, the one with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I thought you said Samuel Jackson. Okay, yeah, I know. I saw that movie. I watched that whole thing, and they had the cure before it hit everybody.
Right.
I remember that.
Hide it in like a nice.
I can't remember the name of it either, but I watched that whole movie, and I was like,
watch the whole movie.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
It started with that little village, right?
Yeah, the little village. Yep. So in that movie, pay attention. You hear the word quarantine for the first time. The government says we're gonna have a shutdown for like a month, quarantine. That's the first time I ever heard that word. Second, it talks about the virus spreads airborne and it could go through pets. And the United States were like, this virus in the beginning, the virus is not airborne. It's just like a flu. I already know it was airborne when they found out a couple months later, and then they say it can go through animals. I was like, y'all need to, do more.
I remember from the movie, the little white girl was playing with the monkey and stuff.
Yeah, you remember?
Yeah. And her mama was like, "That's the same monkey."
Yeah, that's literally.
Yeah. And then they put the monkey ass.
So I saw that movie, but you're right. A lot of times, something the elder once told me, he said it like this. Like, you remember when we saw Transformers, right?
Yeah.
When we saw the robot in the Hoover Dam and all that, And he said a lot of times they introduce stuff to you through the movies, so later on you'll be, like acclimated,
aware.
You're ready for it. I mean, you remember when we was watching The Matrix, right? Yeah. Now you got people, going VR for a whole week, strapping the headset on. They don't see so. They always you're right. They introduce it to us through movies, and so it's familiar.
Right. And I was gonna say too, man. Like, I don't know if I answered your question fully about the lady, like the role play. So you know how I told you guys, like, oh no, I did do it. I thought I didn't do it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
thank you.
The border is close.
Right, it is very close.
It's Trump's fault.
Right. Now, here's another thing I want to share with you guys, right? So they said, I heard a friend quote this to me a couple months ago. He said that basically racism is not worse, but now being filmed. That's what he said.
Huh?
Because back then in the 70s, 80s, even before
they have no camera,
there was no camera, so there was no proof.
Yes, yeah.
It was just word of mouth, like, oh, this is what happened to somebody, Phil or Dill or Jill, what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, nobody could really believe it. But now I feel like now people can actually look back and say, look, that's what happened, you gotta watch out. You know what I'm saying? It's a scary time, believe it or not. I feel like it's sad to say this, but I'm not trying to get political, but ever since the former, he who must not be named.
Nah, he ain't that special, man.
He ain't that special, but
he ain't that special.
I felt like more racist.
Last Cheeto was in the office.
Yeah. More racist people have now come out of the closet. It's becoming more accepting. That's how I look at it. Because back then, it was really like not really talked about, and people weren't embracing it coming out. I feel like they're coming out harder. Like it's it's a crazy time, man. Like especially like I'm happy that the Asian community are coming together and protesting and sharing. Like we gotta stop the hate crime. We gotta stick together. Like I think that's beautiful. You gotta have that because then nobody's gonna take anybody serious. You have to share what you feel. You know.
Well, I heard and I learned that anti-racism dates back centuries to the 1850. Okay, they have this exclusionary policy against Asian. So it started long time ago with this Asian people who suffered. But then, just like what you said, it was spoken before, but right now it has been filmed already. But this is quite like centuries Asian people, huge, it's a huge racism
Yeah,
from way back 1850s. Yes.
that's true.
Look, man, Europe is trying to conquer everywhere they can, right? So there is in my personal opinion, there's European Americans, those that are supportive of white supremacy. There's a hatred towards Asiatic people because they have attempted multiple times to conquer. I mean, let's just say, for example, what happened to Japan, right? So they dropped 2 nuclear bombs, right? Messed up everything.
Yeah.
But they still weren't able to displace Japan. They didn't go in and take the land. They may have wiped out massive amount of people.
Yeah.
But now look at Japan. They rebounded and they did the one thing that, in my personal opinion, that is not allowed of African people, is that those Japanese people, after that happened, they educated themselves. You know what I'm saying? They were like, and this happened to a lot of different, Asiatic countries. After the war, then they start educating themselves and into everything, obviously first their history and then martial arts and then into agriculture and then into, finances and now into electronics. So if you look at all the, Asian countries that Europe has tried to conquer, after that happened, those countries became extremely educated. And a lot of times that's what they're stopping from happening in Africa. They're like, okay, well, let's not educate them because we already see what's happening with the Asian people. If these Africans get an education like that, well, then those two are probably going to join forces because,
well,
in my opinion, Asians and Africans have a lot in common because the continents are connected.
I would say I agree, and I also disagree about those things because it's not just only American who are there in Africa. Also, Chinese people are there. European are there. So I think it depends on individual who really wants to be educated or not. Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, if the Spaniards did that before in the Philippines too, about what you said, they literally it's not open for everybody. The books you can, a Filipino, an ACTA people could read a certain books in comparison for those kind of Spaniards who are coming from Barcelona. They have another education. They attending a different school in comparison to this Agta mountain people. So yeah, I agree with you. But right now in Africa, there's a lot of different race in there. Chinese, European, Americans. Yeah. So yeah.
They keep everyone at this point is guilty of keeping Africa divided.
Yeah. Like if you think about it, Africa had the gold. It had all the one of the best, things that I mean, right now it's been strapped away. A lot of stuff in Africa
Wow.
when, the slave trade was happening was going on. I honestly, this is my prediction, and I could be wrong, but this is what I honestly believe. Ever since watching Black Panther, I really think that if the white never took over or grabbed all the people there and made them as slaves and brought them to America, Africa would have been the richest countries in the world. That's my opinion, because they will still have the gold. That's why if you see Wakanda, they had like they were advanced by a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it's very nature. You got grass, you got everything, but it's sad. And I think Stan Lee, who wrote Black Panther in the comics, he really believed that too, that Africa was going to be prosperous if the white man didn't come and knock over, and strap away, the people. You know what I'm saying? So I see things different now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely are a lot of damage for what they did in there, because it's either they take out some gold, or they basically pay a lot of militants who are Africans in there. And the soldiers who are supposed to be protecting Africans, they were protecting Americans right now because they have a money to pay for this soldiers. So the Africans is going to Americans because they have a money. So they were killing their own people, which is the same thing as African because of that,
I mean, in my humble opinion, the main reason that all of the nations have not allowed Africans to prosper the way that Asian countries have, because like I said, you just see after the wars, when Asian people are educating themselves on their history, when they're educating themselves on agriculture, when they're educating themselves on ancient African spirituality, that automatically leads to enlightenment of the entire country, and unless I'm mistaken, when they divided everything, in the mind of Africans, it never was divided. They just see each other as Africans.
Yeah.
So you say, you're from here, you're from there. That was, that's that racist culture. That's European, really, and it has affected a lot of other places. But right now we're seeing, with the last guy that was in the White House, we're seeing that the people that thought they were all right, the Asians, the Latinos, the Jews, so forth and so on. The list is long. This last guy, he said, "Oh, well, you were all right for a little while." Something my elder taught me. It's a very racist expression, but if you've never heard it before, I'm just going to tell you one time and you'll never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, stay mellow. But if you black, stay back. And that is, in reality, that's been uncovered by the last racist president, where there was promises given to brown and yellow people and people that are white, not saying that you were, of their same caste system, the same level of white as, you're seeing right now, the white Jews are realizing, well, they're not white enough to pass the white supremacy test, right?
Yeah.
So you might have thought you were white, but you're not that white.
Yeah.
So we're seeing it.
Yeah.
And it's boiling over. In my humble opinion, we have to really prepare what's going to happen in 20 years, the next generation, because we're seeing all these children that witnessed what happened on January 6th, that they just took the Capitol. So now that spirit is in the country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where they're like, well, we might have to get ready for war. So we have to start raising our children for the revolution. And just last thing, Revolutionary War, Civil War, those were white wars. White people killing white people because they weren't white enough. Period.
Man, that's it's crazy stuff, man. Crazy. And even like the thing that's very interesting, not to get too political, but I feel like Trump did help out a lot of white Jewish people because I would say 80% of Jewish people that I've met that are white, they loved him. They say he was the best president that looked out for Israel, right? The thing is, what people don't understand is that Jewish people are not only white; it's we're very mixed. That's how I like to see it.
Well, there's that book, The Color of Whiteness.
Yeah.
You heard of it. Everybody
Yeah.
heard of it.
Right. So I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like at this time and era, I feel like Asians, well, and Hispanics and blacks got hit the most in this time period. Like with the kids being in the detention center separated from their parents, everyone trying to blame Obama for that. Like, but honestly, in real life, um, people don't understand it's still not right for having kids, aluminum foil, sleeping on it, and not
Oh,
having the burden
yes.
of watching
Yeah.
them,
Yes,
right?
definitely. I told that. I told that to Michael. At that time, I was pregnant with Michaela, and we are a member of a Jewish Council Urban Affairs. And I said, if I am not pregnant right now, definitely I'm going to fight for those kids. Definitely I'm going to fight for those kids. It's 4,000 plus kids that are in the cage.
Yeah,
Definitely, I am a mother. I am a mother and I am an immigrant. You cannot take my kids away from me. Not even one day or not even six hours and calling me like, hey, you're gonna get deported and your kids are gonna stay in here and staying in the cage. You can't do that.
yeah,
That it's inhumane. That's really crazy.
yeah.
Really crazy. That's heartbreaking and that's madness.
Oh yeah. And if you think about it, back in the days, I don't know if it was World War I or two, but there was a time when America put Asians in
Yeah,
cages.
internment camps,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah, yeah,
was after the Japanese, right? They
right.
didn't forget.
Yeah. Was that World War II or that was World War
I think so. My history's not the greatest topic.
I think it's World War II, yes.
II? Okay. So you
They
see
did.
that was a sad time too, and people don't
They did the
really,
Vietnam War, yes.
yeah.
That's World
People
War
don't,
II too. Mexican, yes.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So people don't really talk about that. So I feel like, with this happening with the cages breaks my heart. My mom actually saved a girl from the one of the detention centers. She paid a good lawyer and she adopted the little girl and helped find the mom.
Hey,
And
Oh,
Baruch
now
bless
Hashem.
she's
her
another,
heart. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because they cannot really trace the kids right now. And what really is disturbing right now is because of this coronavirus thing. I don't care about people who was in prison. I care about those kids in there that have
yeah,
been surrounded with a very small space.
right.
A very small space. What are you gonna do about that? You just take the kids from their houses without any records,
Yep.
just because they don't have documents.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't have documents?
Look,
That's crazy.
you know what? Let me
And you're taking care of animals. You're adapting animals in here, cats and dogs. No, seriously.
I want to talk about animals, damn it.
No. I love animals, okay? But these
I
kids
don't.
are in the cage, okay? The only thing that you could put in the cage is, I don't know, monkeys, aggressive monkeys, aggressive dogs, or what is this thing? That is my point, because we are, what is this thing? We work in animal shelter.
Here's what I'm hoping for, my lord, okay? I'm hoping that all of these ethnicities that have been attacked directly during the last president's, tenure, that they join the Black Lives Movement. Asian lives matter. Latin lives matter. You know what I'm saying? Jewish lives matter. Because in reality, a lot of those ethnicities, they drank the Kool-Aid. They thought everything was cool. They thought they were all right because they were light. Remember, we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
There are no black, there are no white, there's light and there's dark. And you thought you was white, maybe because you came from Argentina, or maybe because you came from Japan, or maybe because you came from Poland.
Or maybe because you're Jewish, yeah.
Right, you Polish Jews, who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you thought you were light enough, but you're not going to pass the white supremacy test. I'm gonna tell you just like that, because they want to know who your mama and your daddy was, and your grandparents on both sides. And then you go a little too far back, hey, you're pretty much black.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that what's happening right now in the Asian community, obviously what's been happening in the Latin community, and what's been happening in the Jewish community, will inadvertently allow these communities to come together with the Black Lives Matter movement, because that is the strongest thing going on right now.
And an Asian Lives Matter movement, and a Mexican Lives Matter movement. Every lives matter.
Well, I mean, I never get how people don't get that South America is attached to North America. I mean, even on their map. So
right,
it was the Americas once upon a time. So I mean, you just let them divide the whole world. Divide and conquer, my lord. They divided Africa. They divided America. Look what they did to the Aboriginal people in Australia,
Yeah.
The writing's on the wall. Sooner or later, I don't know the name of the guy, the famous expression, first they came for this one, then they came for that one, then they came for me. They're coming for all of us now. In my personal opinion, we have a generation to prepare for what's coming. Right now we're dealing with, this is what, 2021, right?
Yeah.
According to the Hebrew calendar, this is 5781. So by the year 5800, 19 more years, something big is going to happen.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with the people that don't even identify with the reality of time.
Mm-hmm.
This is the year 2021. Okay. But aren't there other calendars? Isn't there a Chinese calendar? Isn't there, what I'm saying? I don't know what year it is in the Chinese calendar, but they're not on the same calendar as America. Other people are making preparations of what's going to happen in the next 20 years, just like the Roman Catholics don't, I don't know if you know this, but they make 1,000-year plans, my lord.
Dang.
Yeah.
I haven't even.
But right now, they're working on the 2,000 to 3,000-year plan.
Yeah.
Just thinking about what we're going to do in a couple of days. They plan it 1,000 years in advance.
Wow. I can't even plan what I'm going to do in 5 years.
I don't know if they're after this podcast.
Yeah, that's it, man. Trying to change lives, man. That's the thing, man. Like I feel like we have the opportunity to reach out to a lot of young people. And in the Talmud, for those who don't know, it's a Jewish book that talks about a lot of the rabbinical laws. And one of the things it says in the Talmud, it says that the older generation and the young generation in the end of days will fight each other. And I agree with it, because you know why? Because just like, us, we have the Shabbat, for example, and we, like in my family tradition, I know you guys have the same. When we eat at the table, we don't use our phones, right? We stick to the family. We, what I'm saying? We keep it, the table is like our altar, our I think it's Hebrew mispacha, that the altar, what's it, right? The table. So I feel like you have to keep it like it's almost like you're in front of Hashem,
It's
because
sacred. Yeah, it's sacred.
Sacred. There you go. Thank you. And so when we eat the food, we can't waste it. We have to be grateful that we have the food, and of course we pray, and that's why I'm saying, like, we really, really have to be careful on anything we do. And but going back to the young and the old. So my thing is social media, which is really big for the young people, very big, is keeping away them of reading regular books, like a real actual book. That's number one. Number two, they go to Google as their God. Google
Mm.
is their God to answers. Like they're key to answer everything. So let's say you guys taught your son something that you guys learned or from experience. This and they could be like, nah, I don't think that's right because Wikipedia said that. Page two says, you know what I'm saying? The water was blue. So I'm just giving an example, but that's why I feel like technology is what's going to separate the old and the new generation. That's how I see it. And then if you look at COVID, right, with the pandemic, I said this in 2 episodes ago or three. I literally believe that this COVID, this pandemic, is a plague for everyone. And I'll say why. It's the first time everyone, no matter what faith you are, if you're rich or poor, everyone is treated equal for the first time. Because they said the only time you feel like God is being fair is when you die, because everybody dies. But in life, we don't have the same treatment. Everyone's in different paths. Some people were born wealthy, some people were born poor. But with this pandemic and this COVID, people are losing somebody in their family or friends every day. So
Yeah,
we have something
that's true.
that brings us together. Like, yo, we're losing people. This is our time to get close. That's how I see. I like to look at the positive side. That's what I see.
I think you're spot on, my lord. Passover or Pesach is quickly approaching, and we go over all this, and you know, unbeknownst to many people, all the religions of the world that we now have, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, all of that stuff existed in Egypt.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about, everybody was treated differently when the plagues came upon Egypt. It hit all of those because there was every religion that we know now in the modern day era
Yeah.
already existed in Egypt.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point of the Torah, is to bring us out of that, out of that narrow-minded place, out of Egypt, and try something new where there's only one God and there's no image of the God, and you have to, honor your mother and father, and not mess around, so forth and so on. You can go through the whole 10 if you want, but the reality is everything we're doing now, we have created a new Egypt, and it's worldwide, my lord. No one has ever conquered the whole world,
Yeah.
right? No one. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're right.
No one has
They
ever,
tried.
you know, and that is the unique thing about Judaism, is not from a place of conquering. It's not that, okay, you have to take this religion and go conquer the whole world. You don't have to. You
Yeah.
just have to understand that the God of Israel is the God of the whole world, because he's conquered the whole world. No one can ever make a claim that they conquered the whole world. Only, the Most High God is able to do something like that. So that's what the whole spirit of Passover is, to let people know that the curses are coming, the plagues are coming, and here we are. It's real now, right?
Yeah. Honestly.
It's not just in the scroll anymore. And you see what's happening with the mutations.
Yeah. They
No.
try to mutate me.
Ah, try to clone you,
I
bro.
told I charge 500 per hour. That's what I told them. Because by the time they finish me, I'm already dead. So that's why I need to make sure that goes to this will, it goes to that person. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm really happy, to have you guys here. I'm gonna wrap it up. This is the outlet to reality. The holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago every Tuesday. My fans out there, thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and don't forget to subscribe. Cha-ching! And for my lovely couple right here, any last advice you want to share for our single people out there or people that are married that want to guess have a nice positive quote, like anything you guys want to share?
Okay. The only thing that I could say right now is, if you experience this kind of racism, you know, specifically for Asian people, there is a GoFundMe. First and foremost, just call 911 and GoFundMe for AAPI, which is Asian American Asian American Pacific something, but AAPI, and then GoFundMe for CNBC. So those are the things that you have to do, and speak out, especially for elderly Asian people. If those people have been abused verbally, say something for them, because it will make it will make a lot of difference. I heard that 70% of Asian women got abused verbally, and only 20% of men. It's really hard. But
Wow.
I would say yes. Just go. You know, what else can you say there?
All I would say is this: I'm not going to use that guy's name that attacked the Asian women in Atlanta, but I would say this: um, Asian women need to stop being looked as sexual objects. Whether or not, dude is claiming it wasn't racism, but how does that justify the fact that, his
Three.
obsession with Asian women led him to do it?
No,
So
he
how does
attacked. He
you know
attacked
how
three.
how does that justify the two things? So Americans need to stop looking at Asian women and in my opinion also African and Latin women as sexual.
All of the women's in
Well,
general.
definitely. I'm just saying the ones that are being targeted, especially now, as sexual objects, and
Yeah.
just you know
Cool.
have some respect.
And
And this is really funny. This is really funny
Uh-oh.
because I heard it from the CNN. That was like a long time ago. There is a Spanish teacher. Her name is Nicole Burlett, and he said in the Zoom class, he said, if the slant eyes is down, there are Chinese. If their eyes is slant up, they are Japanese. I was like, is that really crazy? It's
wow.
not, yeah, it's very disturbing. But anyhow, if someone had been abused verbally in there, just speak out, just say something for them. It will make a lot of difference. At the end of the night, we're only human being. We're only human being. We need someone to give us safety.
Let me last word, my lord. Something I learned when I met my wife that and I know because we got this wonderful American education. But I learned that the word Oriental, right?
Yeah.
Well, what I was taught was that was the word to describe Asian women, or not Asian women, excuse me, the Asian people in general. They're Oriental.
Yeah.
But when I met my wife, she told me that's like the N word, bro.
The
Wow.
N word? No, I said
It's like a derogative. It's a negative. Like it's like calling them out of their name, like taking their culture away,
no,
saying they're
no,
like
it's
an
not. It's not.
Oriental rug.
It's like referring to a rock. Yeah, but
So be careful with that word, all right?
I won't use that. I'm gonna say,
I don't use it no more either.
yeah, I know. I never use that word. If anything, I would say the most powerful women are the well in the Torah too. Like now you guys got me saying one last thing.
Come on.
Torah always said that the women were more spiritual. If we go back to the golden calf and the people were, building it and worshiping while Moshe Rabbeinu Moses went up to the mountain, um, it said that there was only two group people that did not participate in that golden calf worship. It was the women, the Levites, and the children. Those were the three. My bad, three. And till that day, even in the Sudur, even in our prayers, and if you read the Tanakh, the Bible, it says that the women were more, they were even greater than prophets.
women's are.
Source of life.
Because if you mess up in the home, you better watch out because you know what I'm saying, they got the power. I got the power. You see? So all right, guys. So I wrapped it up. Thank you guys. Peace.